All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore this incredible idea, this kind of spiritual alchemy, really, that can turn the most ordinary parts of your day into powerful acts of worship. We're talking about things you already do, but with one tiny shift. Let's see how it works.
I mean, think about your daily routine for a second. What if making dinner for your family, something you might just do on autopilot, could actually carry the same spiritual weight as a prayer?
And it doesn't stop there. What about something as basic and personal as taking a shower? Could that simple, everyday act of just getting clean be elevated into something sacred? The answer is a huge, resounding yes.
So here's the secret, the big shift. The transformation isn't about changing what you're doing. It's all about changing why you're doing it. The magic is in the purpose, the intention you tie to every single thing you do.
And that why gets us right to the heart of it all. In Islam, this powerful purpose has a very specific name. And really, understanding it is the key to unlocking a life that's just full of continuous reward. And that concept is niyyah. You can think of it like the engine inside your heart that drives every single action. It's what makes the difference between a mindless habit, something you do just 'cause, and a conscious act of devotion that you're doing purely to please God.
And what's the ultimate payoff for this? Well, living with a correct niyyah, one you're always renewing, means that on the day of judgment, your entire life, not just your formal acts of worship, is going to weigh heavily on your scale of good deeds.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? I mean, what does it look like? Let's break it down with some really tangible, everyday examples so you can see this spiritual alchemy happen.
So, picture this. A mother is in the kitchen cooking mac and cheese for her kids. Now, if she's just going through the motions, well, it's just a neutral act. But if, for just a moment, she forms the niyyah, the intention, to nourish her family for God's sake, or even just to bring joy to another soul, bam, that simple task is instantly transformed. It becomes an act of worship.
Okay, but get this. This is where the whole idea gets even more profound. Niyyah doesn't just elevate what you do. It can also turn the things you actively choose not to do into a powerful act of worship.
Let's look at this comparison. We all know that praying when you're in a state of purity is worship, right? But Islamic teachings are very clear. For a woman who is menstruating, obeying God's command to not pray is in itself an act of worship. Her niyyah is one of pure submission to God's will. And in that moment, her obedience is actually more beloved to God than a prayer would be. So you can see the potential here is just huge. This isn't just about a few niche examples. This principle can be applied to literally every single part of our lives.
I mean, think about your own day. If you're a doctor, your intention can be to serve God's creation with every single patient. A student, you can intend to seek knowledge that will benefit others. Your commute to work, getting married, heck, even something as simple as cutting your hair can become a rewarded act when you link it to a higher purpose.
But you know, the real trick is actually remembering to do this in the middle of a busy day, right? So how do we actually live this? Well, the key is to build a super simple, conscious habit that just recenters our focus before we do anything. And it can be unbelievably simple. Before you start the car, before you see that patient, before you open your textbook, just a quick, silent thought in your heart. Ya Allah, this is for you. That tiny phrase recalibrates your spiritual compass and completely transforms the action that comes next.
Okay, now we need to talk about why this is so unbelievably important. The power of niyyah isn't just about racking up extra rewards. It's actually the fundamental thing by which all of our biggest deeds will be judged.
You know, Islamic tradition has this incredibly sobering story about 3 people who were brought forward on the Day of Judgment: a martyr, a great scholar, and a beautiful reciter of the Quran. I mean, these are massive, amazing deeds, but their intentions were totally off. They did these great things not for God, but because they wanted people to call them brave or wise or a great reciter. And the verdict they each get is just chilling. In spite of all their sacrifice and all their effort here on earth, they'll be told, "You didn't do this for me." Their actions, which looked so incredible from the outside, were completely worthless because the why, the niyyah, was pointed at the wrong audience.
So, here's what it all boils down to. Sincerity is everything. Niyyah is literally the soul of every action you take. Without the right why, even the biggest, most amazing deeds can just become an empty shell. But with it, the smallest, most routine tasks can fill our scales with unimaginable weight.
And that really leaves us with one final question, and this one's for you. As you go about your day today, think about one simple, mundane thing you have to do. What is the one action that you will consciously transform into an act of worship?